we're going to go into this brand new model for manifestation, the brilliant melding of the energetics that it takes for manifestation, as well as the strategy to use the energetics in 6 main pillars of business. It is a model or a diagram of how energy moves in our system to then create in all of the different areas within our business. This is the clearest this has ever come through to me. And I feel like it's like a puzzle that I've been chewing on for maybe a decade. This is like the A to Z path of creation in your business. And my mind is really, and my heart is really excited to share it with you. Now, this is where we meld being 100% spirit and 100% human, and where we can leverage the highest levels of energy, of creation, of manifestation available to us, and direct it into our business in a way that makes success inevitable. When we master our energy and we express that energy out through our words, through our actions from that state, it must attract everything that you desire, that you genuinely desire from a high conscious place, like your true heart's desires. This model has multiple layers to it. We're going to go through every single one of them. I haven't felt this level of time for me to bring work back out into the world in a long time. And so this is my first run of what can be eventually a training to drive more and more people to experience and understand something that can make such a massive shift in their business. The new age of business, the new paradigm of business. We all feel it and know it. You are here because you are aligned with that the old ways are continuing to fall apart, and we don't yet have the new structures. And I genuinely feel like I am here on this earth to be a guide for some of these new structures that are coming from pure power and source energy, and how we share our gifts with the world and get really well paid for those gifts. This is a culmination of many different things. Like, we know that there are 7 chakras that are basically considered our energetic containers, where we're perceiving and receiving and managing and aligning chakras and energy. In human design, there are 9 different centers. As things have evolved, came to the conclusion that there are 4 core centers. And so the first thing I want to share with you are these 4 centers. These are the places that we are receiving energy, that we are managing energy, that we are choosing energy. This is the place that we are meant to be in deep awareness and exploration to maximize our potential, our output, and how we are showing up in the world. This is where all of our intention lives. Intention drives energy. What that means is why we're doing something, which is the intention behind it, is going to determine the result of the action more than the action itself. These are the awareness centers, the 4 places that we are exploring energy. So first and foremost, we have the mind. So the mind is all of our thinkings, all of our thoughts, and the energetic state of those thoughts. It's how are we strategizing? How are we holding a vision? What is the vision? Can we see it? Where's the inspiration? What about our ideas? This is the place where ideas come from. Inspiration, strategy, organization, perception, conceptualization. All of these functions of the mind, ultimately, which energetic state is it operating from? So we are really aware of how our mind is operating in our business as one of the key states that we're playing with. So the next one that I want to share is the soul. The soul center represents your heart's desires. This is, what do you really want? It's where your values live. It's who you are. It is where the I am lives. The I am, with whatever you decide to put after it. I am generous. I am kind. I am spiritual. I am love. I am. This is your identity, your purpose, your direction, your values, your desires. This is your soul's domain, and how we are interacting and in awareness of what is all happening there is going to present itself energetically. The third one is heart. No. This is our feelings. This is our emotions. This is what basically adds charge to everything that we're doing. So we know that the mind and the heart play out in Joe Dispenza's work, head-heart coherence. to be able to see a vision and feel it. The emotion charges up the vision in a way that leads to placing the order for manifestation. And this is the space that I've really spent the majority of my time working with clients, and even on these master classes, is how do you create, or courses that I created. One with It All is based on head heart coherence. All this stuff. It's like always about the vision and the emotion, that it goes into the emotion. And what's really cool that I just have recently uncovered is that is only half of the equation. There's also the soul and the deep connection to who you are, the I am, your identity, your purpose, that piece that also fuels the energy for co-creation and manifestation. The fourth center is the will. The will is essentially all of the space where we are building drive, momentum. It is where energy starts to create this impetus to move. This is where the pull is into action. And so all four of these centers are essentially energetic containers that fuel a fifth center. And I'm going to share with you the fifth center in just a minute here. The fifth center is the hub. So it's the hub where all of it fits. But every single one of these has a role and is driving energy to the fifth center. And every single one of them, we want to be operating at the highest potential output that it can, because when we focus on the energy of these four centers and what is being driven into the hub, it is setting the fertile ground for anything and everything that we're creating on the backside of it. And again, we'll get into the practical, tactical, strategic aspects of business, but this is why I am so passionate about teaching that it all starts with energy. We're actually developing a full assessment around this. I just tested the prototype assessment on myself, and I am operating in one state of energy in my mind and in my feeling, and a completely different state of energy in my soul and in my will. And I can feel the difference of it. So my soul and my will are operating at a higher state, and they are contributing a lot more energy to this fifth hub. Whereas my mind and my feeling, my heart, is contributing less. It's like just dripping into this fifth hub. So I can see very clearly exactly where I have the opportunity to tap into more of my power, more of the truth of what I have access to fuel this center hub, which this center hub is your manifestation hub. I'm trying to think of what I want to call it. Manifestation quotient, manifestation power, but we're going to call it your MP. So every single one of these is driving energy into this hub. Now, the purpose of the manifestation hub is this is the expression of energy. This is connected to the throat chakra. They always called the throat chakra the manifestation. And I was like, oh, it's because we speak things into reality. That's true. That is, it's our words, it's our expression. It's where essentially we are alchemizing energy into matter, where we are transmuting frequency into material. This is the hub. And so this whole center, yes, it's expression, but it is also our actions. So in these outer four centers, it's all a building up. It's all basically it's the gas that fills the tank of the manifestation center or the manifestation power. And the more gas that's in that tank, the more energy we have to pour out into our business in these 6 different areas. And the more energy that we have available to us to pour out, the less human effort is required. The more ease, enjoyment, fulfillment, joy, fun, playfulness, detachment, all of these things when we have a full tank in that manifestation power. And so it all starts with awareness in those first 4 centers. And that's what we're developing on the back end, is so that we can get that awareness really quickly. And then we actually know exactly where to start doing the deeper work to come into alignment with the desire. And like, if you think about your 4 centers, just with what I already shared with you, what feels like it's already in alignment for you energetically? It feels like it's in flow. For example, if it's the soul center, you know who you are, confident, you know your purpose, you have your direction, there's a deep connection to it, you know what you want, those desires are in alignment with who you are. Maybe that's the one that feels like it's the most in alignment for you. Maybe it's the mind. You have the vision. You can see the strategy. It feels energizing. It feels expansive. You've got the path, the how forward in your business and your life. And you're filled with inspiration and ideas. And it's just all energized in the mind center. Or maybe, again, it's in the heart center. You feel excited and full of joy and calm and at peace, and just like a deep knowing that it is done as it pertains to your desires. Then, of course, we've got our will, which is like the pull. Oh, it just feels like the right time to do something. There's a drive, there's a momentum, a motivation that is something that's palpable. It's just like the energy is just pulling you to get into action and to go and to run. Now let's talk about these four centers and the three energetic states. The first state is the shadow. So you can see this little circle. When we're operating in shadow, it's literally just drip. It's very little. It's like clogged pipes heading into the manifestation kind of hub. And so that first state is where we are in fear, constriction, confusion. So again, if I go into the mind, you're going to feel confused. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to overanalyze. You're going to question your ideas. You're going to doubt your ideas. A confused, overanalyzing, obsessive thinking, rumination, discomfort with not having answers. Like all of those things are going to be that shadow state of the mind. The shadow states of the heart, feeling hopeless, attached, like a longing, a craving, feeling irritated, annoyed, frustrated. This is the dominant state of mind right now in my heart. As soon as I got the awareness, I was like, what? No, that's not me. And then I'm driving home from the store in the dark and somebody flashes me. And no kidding, my very first reaction was, my brights aren't on, MFer. I literally swore out loud. That's how quickly I was triggered. And I flashed him to show him I just got whacked. And then I just get about a block up and I see, oh, there's a cop sitting up there. He was just warning me, telling me I probably want to slow down a little bit. So immediately I was irritated, I was annoyed, I was frustrated. I got some energy in there. I'm literally only dripping into my manifestation hub. And it doesn't matter that irritation isn't related to business, because I have a lot of exciting things happening on the business front. Anything and everything in my life is still what's being driven into that manifestation power and determining the energy that I have available to me to pour into any and every other area of life, but we're talking about business because you're all coaches building businesses. The will, this is going to feel like procrastination, too much to do, not enough time, pressure, time pressure, impatience. It's going to feel like exhaustion, draining, a push, a hustle. That's all the first state of the will. The first state of the soul is going to be confusion. I don't know my direction. I don't really know who I am. I don't know my message. I don't know my brand. I don't even know what I want. So there's going to be a lot of that. It can also be like, I'm really proud of who I am and I'm the best at this. And I'm going to show people and prove to them how good I am at this and the value of coaching. And I'm going to prove to them what can happen here. There's a lot of self-worth, self-love, confidence, like obviously in the shadow, that's going to present itself in a very different way. The second state is the power state. The power state. So this is where you are in your 100% human power. This is the masculine representation of energy. This is where you are taking radical responsibility for who you are, the power that you have, your own thinking, you're generating. So this is generating. You're able to actually generate your ideas from an opportunistic place. This is the place where you're operating really at peak human potential. In the mind, this is where you're starting to come up with innovative ideas. You're generating the ideas. You're able to take in a lot of information. You're able to distill that information. You're able to organize that information. This is where my mind, I could read a 200-page book, retain all the information, and give you a summary of it. That's just how my mind can work. I can generate that type of information. This is why I'm able to generate models like this and structures and everything. Because for the most part, generally speaking, I'm operating in this second state of energy in my mind. And it's actually, there's a whole other layer to this, that there's certain centers that you're meant to be operating in your peak performance human, and there's other centers that you're meant to be operating with source, which is the third state that I'm going to talk about. And so this happens to be a center for me personally. I'm meant to be in my masculine. I'm meant to be creating models like this, organizing information, distilling information, receiving ideas, translating those ideas. I'm meant to be spending the majority of my time actually in this circle. I tap into the third state of awareness, which is source. I'm sharing that with you because every single one of us and how we co-create and how we manifest is actually ridiculously unique. It's so freaking cool. In the will, I'm actually meant to be operating from the the third state of awareness through source, which means I'm meant to surrender to divine will, to divine timing. That shit's none of my business. It's 100% in source's hands. But when I'm doing my part in the second energetic state, then the third energetic state is able to provide. So that's the dance of co-creation. And again, you each have your own manifestation maps that's very unique. Let's go into now the second in the heart. This is where you generate feelings of excitement, anticipation, optimism. When you think about your vision, you instantly are like, whoa, this is like fire. It's passion, excitement, all of these really empowering emotions. Like now, look how much energy is pouring in here. And you feel excited and you feel an anticipation. And there's all of this energy that's just like pouring into the hub. All of this energy has been building and building. There's a tension that just wants to burst and fly out of you. And so we are intentionally leveraging this second state to build very powerful energy that's being driven into that manifestation hub. The goal isn't to have always the third state of awareness driving all that energy, because what ends up happening, and we'll get into the third state, but if it's not grounded, if it's not 100% human, that is found in this second state of power, if it's all in the third state of source, then there's nothing to tether into. There's nothing to really co-create. Co-creation is always this intermixing of the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. It's a dance, and it's an interplay that goes back and forth and in and out and all around. When we have the awareness of where we're meant to be operating from our masculine, and we honor that and we commit to it and we enact it and build the energy around that and generate the energy that we're literally pouring and flooding into this hub, that's an incredible thing. And then when we step into the third state of awareness, the source state, then we're in full surrender and in full receiving, and the energy is being built from something higher and beyond us. And that energy is incredibly powerful and incredibly potent. And that place of detachment and surrender and receiving and allowing builds all that energy to continue to flood into the manifestation portal. If it's all the third state of awareness, there's no need for manifestation, because the third state of awareness is surrendered to everything. You're not even connected to a desire. You're not even connected to a want. You're not even connected really to your identity and who you are. It is just the great I am with nothing else. And that's perfectly okay. But I don't know about you. I know that I am here to actually, and I believe all of you are here, otherwise you wouldn't be here, is I have a strong desire to be 100% human and 100% spiritual. I love the experience of being a spiritual being. I love the surrender and all the feeling of that, and of feeling like fully surrendered and fully taken care of in all the ways. And I love playing the game of being a human. I love taking action. I love creating ideas. I love pulling models like this together. There'd be no need for any of this if I were only operating from the third state. So the will second state is, it is productive. It is efficient. It is an efficient use of energy. It is a commitment to fulfilling the actions that it's going to take. So it's the commitment of it. It's not the actions yet, but it's just, I will do whatever it takes, because of no other reason that I am meant to. I have the drive to, I have the energy to, I have the impetus to, I have just this, go for it. Let's fucking go. Now's the time. There's a real drive behind this one in the second state of awareness. And then the soul is, I know who I am. I know what I want. I believe I'm worthy of what I want. I have these states, these qualities, these characteristics, and these talents that allow me to go for what I want. I might say I'm intuitive, and I am caring, and I am passionate, and I have a purpose. This one, again, I actually am meant to operate in this second state of awareness, and it's very much, I know my purpose. I know I am here to shift the paradigm of wealth and business. I am absolutely certain of it. And so that's that second state of awareness. There's just deep certainty and knowing, and like I am made for this. That's the energy that's pouring into, that's the building of energy that you start to feel pouring in there. Okay, the third mind, I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's to receive divine inspiration. You aren't meant to be generating ideas. You're meant to be receiving the divine inspiration. The information is meant to self-organize, and you're allowing and you're patiently receiving, and you understand and believe that all thoughts and all wisdom comes naturally through you. You're an open channel, and that wide open channel pours into this. It's literally source energy from way up here pouring down into the manifestation hub through you. You're just an open vessel, divine inspiration just pouring straight in to that manifestation hub. Heart is divine intelligence, divine emotional intelligence. It's a capacity to feel as though you are source itself, to experience love and beauty pouring through you without it meaning anything. The emotion doesn't even attach. It's just like pure love and unconditional peace and beauty just pouring into that manifestation hub through you. The third state for the will is divine will, an open vessel for the perfect and right pre-synchronized. The synchronistic grid is organizing all the timing, all the people, all the places in all the right ways. It's divine relinquishment and surrender to the how. It's being wide open to all the amazing, infinite ways that things can come to be. It's where you're divinely guided into action, and there is no action unless it's divinely guided. One of my first experiences was this deep pull to go to this ice cream shop, and the ice cream shop happened to be my grandma's old restaurant. It was like, go here. It was like such a loud message. It was such a pull, an undeniable pull that was coming from a higher place towards action that was pouring into my manifestation hub. And then when I expressed it into action and went to the ice cream shop, it created a strategic partnership. It was my first foray and introduction to how business is done, because I had zero business experience. And I discovered my first business mentor as we co-created a social enterprise for disadvantaged youth to give them jobs. And we had built out the entire business plan and how it was a win, how it was going to make the nonprofit money, it was going to make the kids money, and it was going to fulfill our purposes and our desires and our mission so that the program could become self-sustaining and pay for itself so we wouldn't have to constantly be seeking grants. It was one freaking divine will, divine orchestration. I was exactly who he was looking for, and he was exactly who I was looking for. People ask all the time, how did you build that youth program? Freaking divine will. You can't copy my steps because they were pre-orchestrated and synchronistically divinely put together. There is no way in heck I can just give you a cookie cutter map about how to create a youth program and coach kids, because it was 100% divine will. 100%. Everything just came to the table at exactly the right time, and I acted on it. The soul, this is divine purpose. It's a willingness to relinquish that you have to label it at all. The divine purpose is always in the present moment. I'm always on purpose. My purpose is divinely guided in any single moment. It's a deep surrender into a surrendering of direction, a surrendering of a need for a purpose. It's like who you are is the purpose. Your presence alone is the influence. It's a full surrender into that. Okay, so that's the 3 energetic states. And every single one of them powers up and builds up potency. What happens from here? Here's your manifestation portal, right? Now we're gonna do about business. The 6 functions of business: marketing, sales, program, creation and delivery, operations. This is gonna be your tech stack, the efficiencies, the automations, the SOPs, all of that stuff for your business. Team, where you're delegating. And my favorite, your money. The more that we have in this manifestation hub and the energy all aligned, the more effortless and magnetic every single one of these things become. The easier, the more energizing they are, the more expansive. This is where you get to achieve and receive more than you ever thought possible with significantly less effort. The more full the manifestation hub is, the less human effort is required, because we're relying on energy to move things forward in a powerful way over effort. Effort will always be limited. Energy is limitless. And so long as we are filling that manifestation hub, we have infinite amount of energy available to us. This is superhuman productivity, superhuman creation. It collapses timelines, and it brings manifestation and creations to life very quickly. It keeps building its own momentum as it goes. And you're going to see that it requires a lot of energy to build a balanced business. When I first started my business, I was predominantly focused on marketing. I didn't have clients yet. So all of my energy was poured into marketing and visibility. And then my client fulfillment became the majority of my time. But then I didn't really have enough energy for marketing and sales. And so business requires a lot of energy. You're juggling a lot of balls. And any single one of those that starts to fall off can naturally compromise one of these centers and drop it into the first state, which then has the, oh gosh, man, I dropped the ball on my marketing. I don't have anybody in my pipeline. Oh, shoot, first state, mind. Now I just clogged how much energy I even have to be able to figure out the marketing because I just dropped, which it's fine. It's understandable. Of course it's going to happen, but this is why it's a moving, flowing ecosystem for business always. And the more energy we have, the less likely that's going to happen because we'll have the capacity for all of it. This is capacity because energy is used so efficiently through the blend of the second and the third state. And the words that are coming out for marketing, the words that I'm sharing in my messaging, the emotion that I'm emitting those words from, the brand identity and positioning that it's coming from, that's going to have a pretty big impact on your marketing efforts when all that stuff is clicking along. The important thing about the hub, it's the marrying of energy with the physical action and expression. So the hub's not meant to just hold all the energy. It's meant to be exploded out into the world. It's meant to be shared. This is where we share our gifts freely. So it's meant to be expressed through action, through words, it's just meant to be expressed. It needs to have an outlet. And that's where we're outletting it into the business. It's the gas tank that's being filled. But once it's filled, it's meant to be driven. It's not meant to just sit in a lot. Otherwise, there's no point in having gas in it. And the tank is either on empty, and what I see a lot of people do, and what most businesses, business coaches, business programs, and again, this isn't to knock them, they just don't know the power of energy yet. Most people, they are getting drips into that manifestation tank, and they are freaking hitting the ground running in their business. They're like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this course, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take all the action, I'm going to take all the steps, and I'm going to do all these things, and that's where we hustle and burn out. Only because we didn't feel the tank. We started running on an empty tank. We started putting the gas on with the feet on the brakes, with no gas in the tank. And then we wonder why we're drained, exhausted, burnt out, frustrated, confused, stuck, lost. We were running on empty before we even started because we didn't charge the battery. I had some other examples. If I'm in a state one in my mind and I start marketing with that tank not being full, what's that going to look like? What's that going to sound like? I'll just give that example. We're going to over analyze our strategies. Our content's going to be bland or inspiring. We're going to copy other people's content. We're going to be constantly just recreating what somebody else already created. It's not going to be creative. It's not going to be innovative. We're going to blend into the masses. We're not going to stand out. We're going to be invisible. So marketing from a state one, mind, is that, and then it's going to magnetize and mirror back to us more confusion and more invisibility because that was the intention we were taking the action from. So we always get back what we're putting out. It's going to just perpetuate and mirror and create a cycle that keeps repeating itself until we have awareness and we make an adjustment in our energetic state and put different kind of fuel into the tank. This is a really great analogy. If I'm going to put junk in my tank, I'm going to get junk out. But if I'm going to put top tier performance vehicle in my tank, I'm going to get top tier performance out. And then I'm going to have that mirrored back to me. And that's going to fill the tank again. And we're going to create a new cycle. Okay, the fuel for filling the tank is those four centers: your mind, your soul, your heart, and your will. So that's filling your tank. So if the mind and the soul are putting in one type of gas, and then the will is putting in a different type of gas, and then the heart is putting in a different type of gas, then obviously our results are going to be very mismatched and very all over the place. And and our capacity is going to be compromised in some area of the business. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing rest of your week. Goodbye.